Magic Treehouse Book 1, Dinosaurs Before Dark by Mary Pope Osborne. Where is here? Jack looked out the window. He looked down at the picture in the book. He looked back out the window. The world outside and the world inside the picture, they were exactly the same. The Rondon was soaring through the sky. The ground was covered with ferns and tall grass. There was a widening stream, a slopping hill, and volcanoes in the distance. "What? Where are we?" stammered Jack. Magic Treehouse Book 1, Dinosaurs Before Dark by Mary Pope Osborne. Illustrated by Sal Mordaka. Dinosaurs Before Dark. Chapter 1. Into the Woods. "Help! A monster!" said Annie. "Yeah, sure," said Jack. "A real monster in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania." "Run, Jack!" said Annie. She ran up the road. "Oh, brother." This is what he got for spending time with his 7-year-old sister. Annie loved to pretend stuff, but Jack was 8.5. He liked real things. "Watch out, Jack! The monster's coming! Race you!" "No thanks," said Jack. Annie raced alone into the woods. Jack looked at the sky. The sun was about to set. "Come on, Annie, it's time to go home." But Annie had disappeared. Jack waited. "No, Annie." "Annie!" he shouted again. "Jack, Jack, come here." Jack groaned. "This better be good," he said. Jack left the road and headed into the woods. The trees lit with golden late afternoon light. "Come here," called Annie. "Look!" There she was, standing under a tall oak tree. "Look," she said. She was pointing at a rope ladder. The longest rope ladder Jack had ever seen. "Wow," he whispered. The ladder went all the way up to the top of the tree. At the top was a tree house. It was tucked between 2 branches. "That must be the highest treehouse in the world," said Annie. "Who built it?" asked Jack. "I've never seen it before." "I don't know, but I'm going up," said Annie. "No, we don't know who it belongs to," said Jack. "Just for a teeny minute," said Annie. She started up the ladder. "Annie, come back." She kept climbing. Jack sighed. Annie, it's almost dark. We have to go home." Annie disappeared inside the treehouse. "Annie!" Jack waited a moment. He was about to call again when Annie poked her head out of the treehouse window. "Books!" she shouted. "What?" "It's filled with books." Oh man, Jack loved books. He pushed his glasses into place. He gripped the sides of the rope ladder and he went. Chapter 2, The Monster. Jack crawled through the hole in the treehouse floor. Wow, the treehouse was filled with books. Books everywhere. Very old books with dusty covers. New books with shiny, bright covers. "Look, you can see far, far away," said Annie. She was peering out of the treehouse window. Jack looked out the window with her. Down below there were tops of other trees. In the distance he saw the Frog Creek Library, the elementary school, the park. Annie pointed to the other direction. "There's our house," she said. Sure enough, there was a little white wooden house with a green porch. Next door was their neighbor's black dog, Henry. He looked very tiny. "Hi, Henry," shouted Annie. "Shush! Shush!" said Jack. "We're not supposed to be up here." He glanced around the treehouse again. "I wonder who owns all these books," he said. He noticed bookmarks were sticking out of many of them. I like this one, said Annie. She held up a book with a castle on the cover. Here's a book about Pennsylvania, said Jack. He turned to the page with the bookmark. Hey, here's a picture of Frog Creek in here, said Jack. It's a picture of these woods. Oh, here's a book for you, said Annie. She held up a book about dinosaurs. A blue silk bookmark was sticking out of it. Let me see. Jack sat down in his backpack and grabbed the book from her. You look at that one, and I'll look about the one about castles, said Annie. No, we're better not, said Jack. We don't know who these books belong to. But even as he said this, Jack opened the dinosaur book where the bookmark was. He couldn't help himself. He turned to a picture of an ancient flying reptile, a pterodon. He touched the huge bat-like wings. Wow, whispered Jack. I wish I could see a pterodon. For real, Jack studied the picture of the odd-looking creature soaring through the sky. Ah! Screamed Annie. What? Said Jack. A monster! Annie cried. She pointed to the treehouse window. Stop pretending, Annie, said Jack. No, really, said Annie. Jack looked out the window. A giant creature was gliding above the treetops. He had a long, weird crest in the back of his head, a skinny beak, and huge bat-like wings. It was a real pterodon. The creature curved through the sky. He was coming straight towards the treehouse. He looked like a glider plane. The wind began to blow. The leaves trembled suddenly. The creature soared up high into the sky. Jack nearly fell out of the window trying to see it. The window picked up. It was whistling now. The tree house started to spin. What's happening? Cried Jack. Get down, shouted Annie. She pulled him back from the window. The tree house was spinning faster and faster. Jack squeezed his eyes shut. He held on to Annie. Then everything was still, absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. Sunlight slanted through the window. There was Annie, the books, his backpack. The books, his backpack, the treehouse was still high up in the oak tree. But it wasn't the same oak tree. Chapter 3. Where is here? Jack looked out the window. He looked down at the picture book. He looked back out the window. The world outside and in the picture were exactly the same. But the pterodon was soaring through the sky. The ground was covered with ferns and tall grass. There was a winding stream, a slopping hail, and volcanoes in the distance. What? Where are we? Screamed Jack. The pterodon glided down the base of the tree. The creature caused a stop and stood very still. What happened to us? Said Annie. She looked at Jack. He looked at her. I don't know, said Jack. I was looking at the picture in the book, and I saw you, and you said, wow, I was looking in the pictures of the book, and you said, wow, I wish I could see a pterodon for real, said Annie. Yeah, and then we saw one in the Frog Creek woods. Then Jack, yeah, and then the wind started to the wind got loud, and the treehouse started spinning, said Annie. And we landed here, said Jack. So we landed here, said Annie. So that means, said Jack. So that means what? Said Annie. Nothing, said Jack. He shook his head. None of this can be real. Annie looked out the window again. But He's real, she said. He's very real. Jack looked at the window with her. The pterodon was standing at the base of the oak tree like a guard. His giant wings were spread out on either side of him. "Hi!" Annie shouted. "Shush!" said Jack. "We're not supposed to be here." "But where is here?" said Annie. "I don't know," said Jack. "Hi!" Annie called again to the creature. The pterodon looked up at them. "Where is here?" Annie called down. "You're nuts! He can't talk," said Jack. "But maybe the books can tell us." And Jack looked down at the book. He read the words under the picture. This flying reptile lived in the Cretaceous period. It vanished 65 million years ago. "No, impossible. They couldn't have landed in 65 million years ago." "Jack," said Annie, he's nice." "Nice?" "Yeah, I could tell." "Let's go down and talk to him." "Talk to him?" Annie started down the rope ladder. "Hey!" shouted Jack, but Annie kept going. "Are you crazy?" Jack called. Annie dropped to the ground and stepped baldly up to the ancient creature.